So at this time you should have customized your text a little bit and the colors on your insert. We'll cut it out later on. Remember, you don't want your words to be real close to the edge, and really it's good practice, generally speaking, to keep them away from edges or places where there's going to be a crease. Now, like we learned in photography, there's always times when you can break those rules, but it's nice to have a little bit of breathing space around it. What if I want to add an image to this, though? That's the question that I'd like to ask. So I'm going to go over here to this tool, and it has a little X through it. I can draw either a rectangle or an ellipse, and I can draw that to the size that I want it to be. You don't see it yet, but there's a frame of a circle in there. So let's go to File and Place. Now in Photoshop, it says place linked or place embedded. In InDesign, everything is linked, so they don't bother to have place linked in there. Whereas Photoshop, the actual image is housed there. InDesign only organizes things inside of it. So it's everything in InDesign is always linked. So I'm going to go to place. Let's just find one of these famous chair images that I've overused this semester. Maybe this one here. It's got the lantern and the chair in it. We'll open, and it doesn't look like it's there, but it's actually cropped to that circle. So if I come over here now to this white arrow, there's a difference in InDesign and Illustrator, which we'll get to in second semester. There's a white arrow. I can click on that, and you see how that blue border came up? That is representing my image that is way too large for this circle. So I can drag this down until I see the corner. Oh, there it is. Let's resize it so that it fits a little bit better. Hold down Shift, of course. All right. We'll just say that for now. But you notice it's kind of pixelation city right there. That quality is terrible. Does that mean my photograph was low quality? Not necessarily. What it is that a computer uses a lot of processing power to keep images looking real sharp. And when you have, say, a magazine that you're assembling and all the pages are in it, it could really use a lot of demand on the processor. So by letting it be pixelated, it simplifies it, and it's not working as hard. But if I want to view that more nicely, I can go to View, Display Performance, and High Quality. And there you go. It's better resolution, and it shows me a better idea of what that image looks like. Just like when we did the triptychs and such, if this was saved as a Photoshop document, I could go into Photoshop, edit it, and because it's linked, it would automatically update. Pretty cool. So if I want to move the object, I'm actually moving that separate from the frame. That's one of the biggest adjustments that you'll need to get used to, is that the image moves separate from the frame. I can go back to this black arrow now, select the circle and move it. But then if I want to move the lantern, I'm going to go back to the white arrow. Oh, I accidentally grabbed my text there. You can lock those layers if you don't want them to be a distraction. And I can move that independently. Alright, let's go ahead and delete this right here. And what if I want the whole background to be a picture? And look, you can see I still have the remnant of my frame, so I'm going to delete that as well. I can select, if I want the whole background to be my picture, I can select this shape, which really is serving as a frame, and I can go to File, Place, find an image, open, and that whole background can get filled. Now I can zoom out here, go to my arrow, this is called the direct selection tool, and the shortcut for that is A. I can resize that over here. Now you might be wondering, why is your view a little bit different than mine? You don't see the bleed, you don't see the X's and stuff. One way to change that view if it bothers you, is to set it to screen mode and preview. Normally it's at normal, and it's up to you which way you want to view that. Actually, a lot of times I have it set at normal and then I'll do preview. That allows me to select the things that I want to select. But keep straight whether you're going to use that black arrow to select the frame, or if you're going to select the object within the frame. So you have the frame and then you have the image that's set in the frame. Think about even like text here. So maybe I want to move that over a little bit. I'm going to click on my image, shift it over, and now I don't have as much of a competition there, and it works much nicer. Alright, now if I want to get rid of that, if I select it with the black arrow and hit delete, it's going to delete the whole thing. Command Z will undo. If I just want to delete the picture inside, I can select with the white arrow, delete, and now I'm back to the green background because that frame is still there. The last thing that I'm going to show you briefly is a gradient that you can try out. There's a few nuances to the gradient that are a little bit confusing at times if you're not paying attention. So I'm going to select my gradient tool. Looks similar to what it would in Photoshop. And I'm going to click and drag, and that's going to control my gradient. So if I clicked and dragged at an angle, it could be at an angle. If I clicked and dragged just a little bit, it would be just a little bit at the top. If I hold down Shift, it will guarantee that it's straight up and down or at an exact 45-degree angle. Now what if I want to change the color? I can come over here. Normally it's just a solid color. I can select that. Click on the little box, and it's a little bit of a step to come over here to color. Remember I showed you before how to change that over to CMYK. That's for printing purposes, and I can change the color there. I can add sliders, and the nice thing with this is that it will grab the color where it's at. I can try to readjust that. I can change it to radial. Okay, so some nice options with that. Now, some of you, you're going to start to do the gradient, and you're going to say, "What? Why is it not? It's not giving me any control. It's not working for me." That's because you might have the stroke selected, and you might be doing a gradient on the stroke. So you need to make sure. You see again, this stroke box is a little bit over the fill box. You need to click on the fill box to make sure that that is in the front, and at that point it will have the control that you want it to have. If you don't want it to be stretched like this, I can delete that. I can make a rectangle frame tool that's actually holding down Shift will make it a square. Expand it a little bit, hit my G for gradient tool, and there's a nice gradient. But then it's not going to actually print all of that, right? Because I can just go to screen mode and preview, and it's going to show me what will print. Some options for you to think about. Give it a shot. Try to get familiar with how to move things around, even if this isn't your final insert. Do the best you can, and then we'll give you some assistance when I'm back.